You have felt it before. The invisible wall that rises between you and what you want the most. The harder you try, the further it seems to slip away. The more you force yourself to succeed, the more failure tightens its grip around you. Fyodor Dostoevsky understood this paradox deeply. His words resonate with a brutal truth. If you are doing this, then you will not succeed. But what does that mean? Is it a warning against effort, a curse upon ambition, or is it a glimpse into the deepest flaws of human nature? Dostoevsky was obsessed with the contradictions that define us, the way we sabotage ourselves, the way our desires betray us, the way free will is never truly free. Think about it. Have you ever tried to force yourself to be confident only to feel more insecure? Have you ever obsessed over making the perfect decision only to be paralyzed by doubt? Have you ever wanted something so desperately that your own desperation destroyed your chances of getting it? This is not coincidence. It is a fundamental flaw in how we understand our own will. And Dostoevsky, through his novels and characters, exposed this flaw in ways that still haunt us today. This video will take you deep into the paradox of human desire, the battle between willpower and resistance, between obsession and failure. We will explore why Dostoevsky believed that trying too hard can lead to inevitable failure, and what his tortured, brilliant characters teach us about the nature of action, choice, and the human soul. Because if you truly want to change your life, you need to understand one thing. Sometimes, the harder you try, the more you guarantee your own downfall. Dostoevsky understood something most people refuse to acknowledge. The conscious mind is not always in control. In fact, the more you try to force control over your thoughts, actions, or success, the more resistance you create. This is why obsessing over an outcome often ensures failure. Because effort fueled by desperation is not true effort, but a disguised form of fear. Think about this. If you constantly remind yourself to act natural, can you ever truly be natural? If you desperately try to fall asleep, does sleep come easier? If you fixate on being liked, doesn't it make your interactions feel forced and artificial? Dostoevsky's characters live in this tension. Take Raskolnikov from Crime and Punishment. He believes he can rationally commit a crime and walk away free, unaffected. He convinces himself he is above morality, that he has the strength to transcend guilt. But the more he tries to suppress his conscience, the more it takes control of him. His very act of trying not to feel is what makes him break apart. This is Dostoevsky's warning. When you force yourself into a state of being, confidence, success, control, you often create the opposite. The conscious mind struggles against itself, turning action into hesitation, belief into doubt, and desire into self-sabotage. So what's the way out? How do we avoid this paradox? Dostoevsky suggests that true action comes not from force, but from surrender, from allowing the unconscious to move without interference. But before we can understand that, we must first explore something deeper. Why does the mind resist what it desires the most? Dostoevsky was obsessed with contradiction, the way human beings long for freedom yet cling to chains, the way they crave happiness yet chase suffering. He understood that the mind is not a single unified force. It is a battlefield, constantly at war with itself. So why do we resist what we claim to want the most? Why does the student who desperately wants to succeed procrastinate? Why does the person searching for love push others away? Why does the man who yearns for meaning drown himself in distractions? Dostoevsky's Notes from Underground holds the answer. The narrator, a bitter, self-destructive man, admits something terrifying. Humans don't just seek happiness, we also seek control. And control often means resisting what is best for us, simply to prove that we are in charge. Think about it. If something happens naturally, without struggle, then it feels as if we had no real role in it. And that terrifies the ego. The moment we become aware of our own desires, we interfere. We try to manipulate, to force, to control. And in doing so, we break the natural flow that would have brought us what we wanted. Dostoevsky shows us that our suffering is not always an accident. It is often a choice. A hidden part of us resists success, happiness, and fulfillment because to fully surrender to them would mean losing control. And so we sabotage ourselves. We place obstacles in our own path. We hesitate when we should act. We overthink when we should trust. Because deep down, there is a voice whispering, if it happens too easily, am I really the one who made it happen? This is why Dostoevsky's warning is so powerful. If you are doing this, then you will not succeed. Because the moment you try too hard, the moment you fixate, you reveal your own doubt. You expose the part of yourself that doesn't fully believe. So if the struggle itself is what keeps us trapped, what is the way out? Dostoevsky's answer is hidden in one of his most radical ideas, the power of surrender. Dostoevsky understood that true freedom does not come from control, but from surrender. This does not mean giving up or becoming passive. It means stepping out of your own way. It means letting go of the desperate need to manipulate every outcome and allowing things to unfold as they should. But surrender is terrifying because it requires trust. Trust in yourself, in the process, in something beyond your immediate understanding. Most people cannot do this. They cling to effort, to struggle, to constant self-monitoring, thinking that if they loosen their grip, everything will collapse. Take Prince Mishkin from The Idiot, the ultimate example of surrender. He does not fight to prove himself. He does not manipulate others. He does not obsess over winning. He simply is, existing in a state of pure authenticity, moving without force, choosing without hesitation. And because of that, he is seen as naive, weak, foolish. But is he? Or is he one of the few who understands that life is not meant to be gripped so tightly? This is the paradox. The more you let go, the more naturally things fall into place. Confidence is not built by forcing yourself to appear confident. It comes when you stop trying to be anything at all. Success does not come from obsessive control. It happens when you focus on the work itself rather than its result. Dostoevsky's message is clear. When you surrender to the flow of life, when you stop forcing, doubting, and micromanaging yourself, you free your mind to act without resistance. But most people never reach this state because they are trapped in something far more dangerous than failure. They are trapped in their own expectations. And that is what we must explore next. Dostoevsky knew that our greatest suffering does not come from reality itself, but from the expectations we place upon it. We don't just want to succeed. We want to succeed in a specific way, at a specific time, under specific conditions. And when life doesn't match the vision in our heads, we feel lost, frustrated, and defeated. But here's the truth. Expectations are chains disguised as guidance. They give us the illusion of control, but in reality, they set us up for disappointment. When you expect love to come in a certain form, you reject the love that is already present. When you expect success to happen on your timeline, you ignore the progress you are actually making. When you expect yourself to be perfect, you become paralyzed by fear of failure. Dostoevsky's Ivan Karamazov, the brothers Karamazov, is trapped in this very prison. He expects the world to make sense. He expects justice, logic, and fairness. And when reality doesn't meet those expectations, he spirals into despair, rejecting life itself. But his suffering is not because the world is cruel. It is because he refuses to accept life as it is, rather than as he believes it should be. How many times have you done the same? How many times have you clung to an idea of how things should be, only to suffer when life didn't match it? This is why forcing success never works, because success rarely arrives in the way we expect. This is why forcing happiness makes us miserable, because true joy cannot be controlled. Dostoevsky's warning is clear. If you are doing this, then you will not succeed. If you are chasing an illusion, you will never see reality. If you are forcing a path, you will never flow naturally toward where you are meant to be. So what is the alternative? If expectations are a trap, how do we move forward? Dostoevsky gives us the answer. Embrace the unknown. And that is where we must go next. Dostoevsky's characters often face a brutal realization. Life is unpredictable, uncontrollable, and often absurd. The harder they try to force certainty, the more they suffer. The moment they surrender to the unknown, something shifts. Why? Because freedom is not found in certainty. It is found in letting go of the need for it. Take Alyosha Karamazov, the brothers Karamazov. He does not try to solve life. He does not try to force himself into rigid beliefs or cling to absolute control. Instead, he embraces uncertainty with faith, not in the religious sense, but in the deeper existential sense of trusting that life has meaning, even when it cannot be fully understood. This is the mindset that allows people to break free. Instead of demanding answers, they move forward, despite not having them. Instead of overthinking every step, they take action, even when the path is unclear. Dostoevsky's message is simple. If you are obsessing over success, you are clinging to certainty, and certainty is an illusion. Life does not unfold according to your timeline. It does not obey your expectations. The more you demand a perfect path, the more you will resist the path that is already in front of you. The unknown is terrifying, yes, but it is also where everything truly happens. Love, opportunity, growth, transformation. All of it exists beyond the limits of what you already know. And the moment you stop trying to control everything, you finally open yourself up to receiving it. So where does this leave us? If forcing, controlling, and obsessing all lead to failure, what is the real secret to success? Dostoevsky's answer is radical acceptance, and that is where we must end this journey. Dostoevsky's greatest insight is not about suffering, it is not about failure, it is about freedom, the kind that only comes when you accept life exactly as it is. This does not mean giving up. It does not mean being passive. It means stopping the war with yourself, the war of overthinking, of forcing, of obsessing over things you cannot control. Look at Raskolnikov from Crime and Punishment. His torment is not just from his crime, it is from his refusal to accept reality. He believes he can outthink morality, that he can manipulate fate. But the more he resists his own guilt, the more it consumes him. The moment he stops running from himself, the weight finally lifts. This is the paradox. When you stop forcing things, they begin to flow. When you stop trying to control every outcome, you free yourself to actually succeed. Dostoevsky's warning, if you are doing this, then you will not succeed, is not a curse. It is a truth. If you are forcing confidence, it is not real confidence. If you are obsessed with success, you are ruled by fear. If you are desperate for control, you have already lost it. So what is the way forward? Live fully, without waiting for certainty. Act without overanalyzing. Desire without desperation. Accept without resistance. Because the moment you stop trying so hard to be something, you become it. The moment you stop overthinking your path, you walk it. And the moment you release your grip on life, it finally becomes yours. This is Dostoevsky's ultimate lesson. And the only question left is, are you willing to let go? If this video made you rethink the way you approach success and control, don't let the insight fade. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. See you in the next one.